Hello everyone. So here we are with the session third of the chapter drug stability, and in this session we will going to discuss about the stabilization of medicinal agent against common reaction like hydrolysis and oxidation. Along with this we will also going to discuss about the photolytic degradation of pharmaceutical products and its prevention. So firstly, we will going to discuss about the stabilization of medicinal agent against common reaction like hydrolysis and oxidation. And in this, we'll going to consider hydrolysis first. So when we use the term hydrolysis, it has divided into two parts. The first one is the hydro, which means water, and the second is the lysis, which means degradation or breaking. So the decomposition which came into existence because of the breakdown of water is known as hydrolysis. There are several principles which are responsible for this process, hydrolysis. First one is the drug with ester and amide group react with one molecule of water and undergo hydrolysis. It means that the drug compound which has functional group like esters and amide into it, they get reacted to the single molecule of water, and because of these functional group, for example ester group and amide group, the compound get hydrolyzed. For example, in case of ester group, aspirin plus water gives out salicylic acid and acetic acid, and in case of amide group, salicyl amide plus water gives out salicylic acid and ammonia. So here we can see that in the presence of ester and amide functional group, the drug compound get hydrolyzed. Second principle is the nature of drug is either weak acid or weak base. They are in the form of ions or neutral molecules, so ionic species get hydrolyzed at a faster rate than that of the neutral one. The pharmaceutical drug mostly they may be either in the form of weak acid or in the form of weak base. So they may present in ionic form or in the form of neutral molecules. So here if your drug is in the form of ionic species, then there are chances of getting hydrolyzed is much higher than the drug which is present in the form of neutral molecules. Thirdly, hydrolysis is catalyzed by the presence of hydrogen ion or hydroxyl ion. The presence of hydrogen ion or hydroxyl ion catalyzes the hydrolysis reaction, and when we compare both of these ions, the hydroxyl ion catalyzes the reaction predominantly in comparison with the hydrogen ion. So these are the causes by which hydrolysis takes place, and if we know the causes, then only we can prevent it. So here the causes were firstly the presence of functional group, that is ester group or amide group. Secondly, the nature of the drug, whether it is in form of weak acid or in form of weak base. And thirdly, uh, ions like hydrogen or hydroxyl ion catalyzes the hydrolysis type of reactions. So the prevention of hydrolysis is done by the elimination of moisture content and the catalytic species, that is hydrogen and hydroxyl ion. Firstly, we have to remove the moisture content, because if the moisture is eliminated, hydrolysis does not take place. So for this, specific storage of pharmaceutical products are required. Secondly, we have to eliminate the ions in the presence of which hydrolysis is occurring. So here we can say that hydrolysis is catalyzed by hydrogen ion or hydroxyl ion. So the elimination of these catalytic species can also help in the prevention of hydrolysis. So for the prevention of hydrolysis, we have to add several extra additives which can prevent it. First additive which we generally add for the prevention of hydrolysis is the buffer. Buffer, as we all know, provides the stability to drug product at an optimized pH, and that optimum pH range lies in between 3.5 to 5. Mostly the drug product gets stable at this optimized pH range only. Example which we take here is of pilocarpine. Pilocarpine at alkaline pH remain in unionized form and provides much higher action. As in causes, we have discussed that the drug which are present in ionic form get hydrolyzed easily than in anionic form. Hence, higher action is achieved. Second method is the addition of some complexing agent or the complexation process. There may be chances that the drug product are prone to the hydrolysis. Hence, in these cases, we make a complex of these type of compounds by complexation reaction with some extra additives. This complex will be much more stable to hydrolysis than the drug compound in the pure form. For example, benzocaine in aqueous solution is prone to hydrolysis because of its iron dipole interaction. But when its complex is formed with caffeine, it prevents the iron dipole interaction and hence prevents the hydrolysis. Third method for the prevention of hydrolysis is the suppression of solubility. More is the solubility of drug in water, larger its chances to get hydrolyzed because it is in increased contact with water. Hence, to overcome this problem, the solubility of the drug compound is decreased to reduce its contact with water and ultimately to reduce the hydrolysis. So, to achieve this suppression of stability, we can add several additives like citrates or dextrose. We can uh, form several poorly soluble salts, like in place of penicillin we use procaine penicillin, or several derivatives or that product can also be used. For example, in place of erythromycin we can use its derivative, that is erythromycin stearate, and in case of chloramphenicol we can use chloramphenicol palmitate. Next method is the removal of water. So the removal of water can be done by storing the drug in dry form, for example, streptomycin injection, or by using water immiscible vehicle. Firstly, the streptomycin is prone to hydrolysis in presence of water, so it is stored in dry form. And when it is administered to the patient, it is reconstituted with the sterile water which is dispensed along with it in a separate container. You must have seen several other suspensions and parenterals also in market which comes in dry form, and along with that a sterile water is provided in a separate container so that it can be reconstituted at the time of administration. Next is to add a solvent which is immiscible in water, like in case of aspirin we can use any silicon fluid. So this is all about the hydrolysis process. Now we move on to oxidation. Oxidation involves the removal of electron from a molecule. There are several pharmaceutical products which have fats and oils in their composition, so they are more prone to oxidation, as oxidation involves the removal of electron from a molecule. Reaction between a compound and molecular oxygen is also known as autooxidation. Its example is same fats and oils. In case of these fats and oils, the compound get react with the environmental oxygen and get rancidified, because of which a different order may exist, and that order is known as the rancidity. The principle which governs the oxidation of drug are as follows. Firstly, the presence of atmospheric oxygen promotes the rate of oxidation, that is known as autooxidation. Secondly, oxygen liberates several free radicals and chain reaction occur. Light provides the necessary energy to initiate the oxidation process. Here, light is providing the energy, hence the photolytic degradation is also involved into this, as the compound is absorbing energy in terms of photons from light, and this energy initiates the oxidation process. Thirdly, presence of trace metals increases the rate of oxidation. If your drug compound have traces of metals incorporated into it, then it may also increase the rate of oxidation. For example, when ascorbic acid is reacted with copper ions, it gets converted into dihydroascorbic acid. Fourth principle is the organic peroxides initiate the chain reaction. Peroxide starts the chain reaction, as we studied in the second point, that the chain reaction occurs because of oxidation. Hence, this also enhances the rate of oxidation. Next is the oxidation of ionic species of drug often proceed faster than that of neutral species. As in hydrolysis also we studied that ionic species were prone to the hydrolytic type of degradation, and same possibilities are there in oxidation also. Ionic species get oxidized faster than the neutral ones. For example, vitamin A and ascorbic acid. Next is like hydrolysis, oxidation is catalyzed by hydrogen and hydroxyl ions. Hydroxyl ions catalyzes oxidation reaction faster than the hydrogen ions. As hydrolysis, in oxidation also, hydrogen ion and hydroxyl ions catalyzes the reaction. And here also, hydroxyl ion catalyzes oxidation reaction faster than the hydrogen ion. Example is ascorbic acid in presence of hydrogen or hydroxyl ion get oxidized into dihydroascorbic acid and form ketogluconic acid. This again get degraded and oxalic acid is formed, which further decomposed into the threonic acid. Next is the oxidation process depends on the valency of the ionic species. For example, the compound of which oxidation has been occurring, it is monovalent in nature or divalent in nature. So its valency also causes oxidation process. In next point, the pH of the medium affects the rate of oxidation, whether you are using acidic type of pH or we are using alkaline type of pH. In acidic pH, the rate of oxidation is slow as compared to the alkaline pH, where the rate of oxidation is faster. Now we move on to the prevention of oxidation. Major factors which were causing oxidation were the presence of oxygen, presence of trace metals, or the presence of hydrogen or hydroxyl ion. So to remove or neutralize these causes, first factor is the addition of several antioxidants. These acts by substituting drug in oxidation and stopping chain propagation. It means that when the oxidation of drug is taking place, this antioxidant agent substitute itself with that drug and get oxidized in its place to inhibit the chain propagation. Several water-soluble type of antioxidants are ascorbic acid, etc. And the oil-soluble type of antioxidants are tocopherol and BHA. BHA is the butyl hydroxyaniline. Next agent which we can use for the prevention of oxidation is the chelating agent. Basically, we can use two types of chelating agent. Firstly, the metal chelates, and the secondly is drug chelate. Example of metal chelate is ADTA, citric acid and tartaric acid, where ADTA can easily form complex with several copper ion and can easily inhibit the oxidation process. In case of drug chelate, boric acid may react with your drug compound. It form a complex, and that complex prevent the oxidation process. Thirdly, we can change the vehicle or the solvent. As water is the universal solvent, it is used majorly, but it may impart hydrogen or hydroxyl ion and hence tend to increase the oxidation. So any other vehicle which is immiscible with water is added, and which can form peroxide with water to reduce the oxidation. Water is used and physical properties like dielectric constant, ionic strength and internal pressure can be controlled. Next is the micellar solubilization or the addition of surfactants. When any surfactant is added to up to its CMC level, it starts to form micelle. Micelles are basically the aggregates of molecule in a colloidal solution like those formed by detergents. And the surfactants are the surface active agent which have both polar and non-polar type of groups. So here the surfactant which is generally used is polysorbate 80, which is at a lower concentration, does not prevent oxidation, but at a concentration above CMC it forms spherical micelles, and in these micelles the drug get incorporated into its center, so it prevents oxidation, as now the drug is not in direct contact with oxygen or any ions like hydrogen or hydroxyl ion, which catalyzes the oxidation reaction. Next is the addition of buffers. At optimized pH, drug gets stabilized because of the prevention of oxidation by hydroxyl ion or hydrogen ion. So at a optimum pH, the drug gets stabilized. This is all about the oxidation process. Now we move on to the photolytic degradation and its prevention. Exposure of light causes substantial degradation of drug molecule. Whenever a drug formulation get exposure of light, its chances of degradation get increased also. It means when formulation comes in contact with several electromagnetic radiation, they absorb light in terms of photons at a specific wavelength. These absorbed photon increases its energy, which can cause decomposition. It can also retain or transfer energy, or converted the energy into heat and dissipate it, or result in the light emission of at a newer wavelength. The phenomena of emission of light at a new wavelength is known as fluorescence or phosphorescence. So natural sunlight lies in the wavelength of 290 to 780 nm, that is nanometer, of which only higher energy, that is UV light range, causes photodegradation of the drug. The UV range is from 100 to 400 nm. Examples of phototoxic drugs are furosemide, acetazolamide, and cyanocobalamin. Phototoxic drugs are the drugs which in presence of light get converted into the toxic substance and can cause toxicity. Example of photodegradation is sodium nitroprusside in aqueous solution, which is administered by IV infusion for management of acute hypertension. If protected from light, it remains stable for at least 1 year of time. But if it is exposed to normal room light, it has a shelf life of 4 hours. So because of the photolytic degradation of sodium nitroprusside, its shelf life reduced from 1 year to 4 hours. Now the methods by which we can prevent the photolytic degradations are: firstly, we can use several amber color container. Amber color containers are mostly the brownish color containers which prevents the penetration of UV light into it. Secondly, the storage of such pharmaceutical products in dark packaging in cartons also act as a physical barrier to light. And coating of tablets or other formulations with polymer films so that they cannot come in direct contact with the light. So these were the different degradative pathway by which medicinal agents may get decomposed. Thank you all.